23 meeting of the Economic Development Authority for City of North St. Paul. And we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It just snowed out.
Yeah, it looks nice, doesn't it? Yeah. Chris, can you do a roll call?
You don't get in here much anymore. Right?
Oh. Here.
Chair Furlong,
Here.
Member Matthews,
Here.
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 Representative Cole,
Here. Already.
and our staff, our executive, our community development director, Howe.
Okay, we have the agenda in front of you. I did notice the bylaws are not on the agenda. Is that done or is that coming back later?
It'll be back next month, the attorney and review them.
Anything to talk about today then?
Nope, they'll be ready to adopt next time.
But we're not adding them to today's agenda. Okay.
You need to have 5 days in advance of having. You need to have them
In the packet.
5 days.
Got it. Okay. Any proposed modifications to the agenda? Not, I'll entertain a motion to.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. The agenda is adopted.
He's done.
Attached to the packet, sorry, Mr. Mayor is here. We had to get going. Attached to the packet is the September 12th meeting minutes. I'll entertain any modifications or changes to the meeting minutes, otherwise. Approved.
Move.
Motion.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none. The motion carries. And the minutes are approved from the September 12th meeting. Okay, first item of business, we have a presentation, Open Window Productions. Did you watch another video?
Yeah, we got a couple videos for you guys.
All right.
So we have an update from the original one that we showed you last time, that we added fish from the trade, as well as other business shops. But slight update from the previous one. We'll start here and then I'll move on to the others. Unfortunately, audio is going to be coming from the laptop, so.
Thriving businesses are a hallmark of society, and the city of North St. Paul is a place where history meets opportunity, right in the heart of the Twin Cities metro. Here, you'll find a supportive local government and a small town feel with big city amenities. North St. Paul has an excellent infrastructure, including easy access to major highways, as well as a variety of commercial properties that suit businesses of all types and sizes. From public transportation, our own private utilities, and outstanding public safety, North St. Paul is built for business.
The city has been fantastic at reaching out. These forces came in, the fire department come in after that with their family, and it just felt like we certainly really gave us a lot of support.
North St. Paul is a city on the rise with a rich history and a promising future.
What I can tell you, having been here for a year now, development process before that, this city gets it. And the town itself, they are really excited to see the revitalization of the city. They want to see local businesses succeed. Well, it's clearly open for business.
But it's not just about business. It's about community, too. North St. Paul is known for its robust community engagement and lively events. From the History Cruises car shows and music in the park to the fall roundup parade, there's always something happening here.
I've been in North St. Paul since 2007.
they're doing a lot of stuff, a lot of different things with, apartments they're building in downtown, they're fixing the street, bringing in more people into town, and they've got the car show in Friday night throughout summer, which is a phenomenal event for everybody to come down and see all the classic cars. The whole street is, you know, different people serving stuff, so it's like a little big fair every weekend. It's time to bring your business to North St. Paul to become part of our thriving business community. Contact us today to learn more about the opportunities that await you here.
Do
All right.
we applaud or what do we do?
Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that version is gonna be ideal for, sharing with the businesses in town. I know, you know, Newman's and Max in particular are taking in the video. We're interested in putting it on their website, and of course, anytime we'd want to put it on our website. And so I'm sure a lot of the businesses around town would want to include this to kind of, show off their, connection to the city, but then also, you know, for any, real estate or development that's taking electronically or have posted on. So, we'll provide you guys with is a digital download to a file that you can then embed in all those places. Hacker web teams of that. So, then the next one I have to show you guys is the short version. So this is kind of like the full piece, but for YouTube, and that version can live on YouTube as well. But you know, short videos tend to perform the best for wider audiences. Those are better for your impact, your conversion, those one-on-ones. But for more people reaching either through just organically, or if you decide to do some sort of pay-per-click campaign to market the city, short format videos are the way to go. So you guys are going to have these two 30-second versions. Now, what's in these right now is temporary voiceovers. So if and when you guys approve the script as we wrote it, then we'd have it voiced with that same voiceover from the previous video. But right now it's Josh's voice, who was one of the shooters and editors in the video. So it's still got a good voice, but it'll be a better voice when it's done. 30-second version. This one's
When was the last time you came to North St. Paul? It's time to rediscover Minnesota's oldest bar. We discovered the restaurant and the delicious food. We discovered something new. We discovered the park, the lake, and trail. We discovered the events and community. We discovered North St. Paul.
so from 2.5 minutes down to 30 seconds, same kind of concept, but we fixed some. And there's an alternate version for your YouTube channel. So this way you can put a subscribe now, and we can provide this version for your full-length version as any thoughts, questions.
Looks good, looks good.
Very nice.
All right.
My concern was the Balkans were in it, not the royal family.
Settle down there, blue boy.
I knew that.
All right. Well, great. Cool. So it sounds like final steps is to show it at the council.
Everybody is in agreement that these are we like
Oh, great. Yeah. What are we doing with
you?
Yeah,
What-
so like
no.
I said, so these short format, you know, I would encourage putting them up on social, and you can repost these short format videos. Like putting it up once a month isn't a bad idea with the short format one in particular. So organically, you know, like I said, I think through posting on websites, those are going to be a really effective conversion tool. The next step would be if you were to take it a step further, it'd be like a pay-per-click campaign type of thing to drive traffic to the city, kind of like what Minnesota Department of Tourism does for they have a certain budget that they do their campaigns for Minnesota tourism. And so that idea would be a campaign for attracting business. That would be an extra step, if you're interested in doing that. That'd be but for now, what you have is an amazing tool that will work really well at the conversion level and organically, just for they may not have visited in a little while.
Sorry, it's your email at the bottom.
Yeah, of course.
That's
yeah.
the big thing. It's nice
Exactly.
to have. We do that at work.
Yep.
So there's a little short video you can just click on. We have like a 30-second thing too.
Yep.
So it's everybody who gets your email can, oh, what's this about?
Learn more about North St. Paul right at the bottom. Your YouTube channel.
Mhm.
The way it tracks, how many clicks? No.
You turn the back end. In the back end, can
You can create links that can do that. So if you like had a tiny URL or a bit.ly account, then you can use those, and then they can track the links. Use those. If you want to track. You can also then, of course, get your analytics through YouTube. There's a certain amount of data that's collected. It'll say to a certain degree where your traffic sources come from when you look at your YouTube data. Alternatively, you can post your videos on Vimeo or your own website, but if you did it on Vimeo and then embedded it on your website, then it would give you additional reporting, but it would also give you additional call to action features. So instead of ending with like all the YouTube stuff on the city website, you could get it to end with like submit your email now, or a questionnaire, or something more call to action like at the end of the video. And so that's easy to set up. You do need a premium account, but if that's something you guys wanted to do, you can use our premium account and put it on the website, embed it through us. It would just be like, the only disadvantage to doing that is you would lose access to the side of things, because it's where you can get your own account. So to do that side of it under the call to action is a cool tool, but I think Vimeo charges like here, or maybe it might be 800 to that level. Decide if it's worth it to have that, or just simply go with YouTube, which is a lot. Any of that I can support you guys with after this.
Have that information.
So from the EDA's perspective, I assume we have, I know Carrie does kind of marketing stuff. Do we hand this over to them and look for,
We can get it on our website.
right? Can we ask staff to maybe get a report back what we're doing stuff, just so we know that we didn't spend money for nothing? But I don't, I'm not in a position to dictate how or where they use it. What will be the most effective?
We did our job, right?
That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, so I guess we should resoundingly endorse their performance here and urge the council to pay their bill.
I was just gonna, thanks for bringing that up, and don't let any other agency, council, parks, anyone else use it unless they pay. They don't pay us. I mean, we're paying you, so don't worry about it. You're fine.
I think we need backup, so once we get the video out there, we need documentation, what's available. We should have
Like a thumb drive or
some sort
something?
of,
What do you mean backup?
if a developer was to inquire and seeing it, we need to be able to give them information in regards to the city. Not
Well,
just the video.
Right.
We'll need-
You mean, like everything all together?
Like what land is available, what's, the developer's looking. So we're ready for it once it does go out. Information on regards to
Informal conversation. Detailed but informal conversation about what we have available.
Yeah, and I think it generally would start somewhere around the redevelopment master plan, presumably. Where we're at, what we're doing, any updates. I kind of need that staff. Okay,
Good job, Henry.
so, yeah, thanks a lot,
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Good job.
So it's a pleasure working
Great
on it.
job, yeah.
Awesome.
Appreciate it very much.
Well, yeah, so I'll just work with you to get you guys all the files that you need, and if Garry needs anything from me, guys all the files and answer questions about getting it embedded and shared.
Very much.
Thanks, guys.
Good job.
Thank you.
That one more time. More time? Well, I think that'll be, dollars well spent by the city. So, almost seems like that 30-second, you could run that on, local access,
Mhm.
maybe even. Playing it through. There you go. Okay, staff good on direction for that? Yep. Okay. Meeting, open to the public. Do we have anybody online? Anyone, would you like to speak, sir? Okay. They have anything to share? Looks scarier than you. Okay. Okay, we'll come back to that if we need to, but it's not like anybody watching online, wishes to share. Item 7, EDA discussion and action items. Brandy for project updates.
Sure. In the packet, there's a staff report that's got updates on the things that we're working on. The garage condo proposal, the update there is based on our last meeting. The discussion was to forward with getting appraisals for the site. We had the opportunity to bring it to council for discussion at a workshop. Not all council members were present, but still in flux in terms of what the next steps are with that body. But we are looking to get the site replatted. Can
we speak to that one real quick, or do you want to come back to it?
Yeah, I would like to.
So I was not at last month's meeting. I did read the minutes. I have a little concern that a couple things, and I'll try to keep. I have a concern that, the EDA has the responsibility, part of our responsibility is to attract and retain businesses to the city. And I feel like when we have to go to the council, get approval to execute an agreement with a developer to tie up a piece of land, and we go through these gyrations, and now all of a sudden we're doing appraisals and replatting and everything else. That just adds time to these things, and time tends to kill deals in this arena. Mm-hmm. And I ask myself, why are we sitting here? If the council wants to drive it, then the council can drive it, and we can all go home. And, I'm not sure what we're doing here if this is the type of process we have to follow. I'm not talking about the sale of the land. I'm not talking about approval of the project. I'm talking about us reaching out, getting people, developers in here, take the time, spend their time, money, and resources to take a look at a project or a potential project. And we have to go through all these gyrations to get something done. That doesn't make sense to me. That's not developer friendly. We were here 6 years ago. We had developers saying, I'm not coming there because the city is not friendly to work with. Too much bureaucracy, too much red tape, too many hoops. Don't have a defined, criteria in your zoning, blah, blah, blah. And we're trending back to that. And I'm venting a little bit, but why would we replat over there? If I understand it right, we're replatting to carve out the park. Is that right? No.
The parking, so lot bleeds into the site.
The parking lot. Okay, so we're, which is city owned and wouldn't convey no matter what we do, right?
Take over where you drive up. It would take that away. So it's kind of squaring off that corner.
And then as part of that, it would, create easements and do other things. we're not, an MOU doesn't make a deal. And whatever happens over there, that's gonna get replatted anyways. And we may very well be doing something now that will have to be undone later if we do get to a deal with Mulcahy or anybody else. I mean, that just seems backwards to me. And it's adding time to the process. Okay, he's getting itchy on the deal. Thinks we're not committed. Maybe we aren't, I'm not sure. So we have to figure out a different way to do this. We talked before in the past about getting the council to assign city-owned property to the EDA, that we can act within the authorities that we have and conduct business. But if we have to go to a higher authority every time we want to try to do something, I ask myself, why am I sitting here? Council wants to be the EDA, be the EDA.
Beat me to it. Because I would like to know, because of the absence of certain members here, where everyone stands on this project. Because I watched that workshop meeting and I got the sense that there are several council members that aren't for this project.
I'll be honest, I'm not,
Yeah.
I was one of them that stepped up.
And what,
To address the first part of your statement first, the platting and the appraisals were directions that came out of this room.
No, I see that.
There was a lengthy conversation around how can we do anything without knowing what that is.
How do we show someone know what the value is?
Well, okay, look, I've done plenty of development. That land over there is going to convey for $1. The only exception to that is if it's housing. If it's housing, you can bring TIF in. That's the only way anything gets built over there.
Amen.
We can sit here and debate it all day long.
Because he owns half of it and wants,
Well,
I mean,
wants to kick it in.
that was the gist of, there were some bullet points that were listed. And the last one was negotiate with the owners, with the project about what they were willing to pay for this land. And I couldn't agree with you more.
they're going to pay $1.
Yeah.
That's the
You asked me that, what do you think he's gonna pay? And I said, 0.
That's a concession we're going to have to make. There might be an absolute rare instance where somebody wants to come in and sit on it. They'll pay market rate or something near that, but we're going to be sitting on that land for 30 years if that's what we're waiting for. I mean,
Why did you ask for appraisal when we?
I didn't. I wasn't.
We didn't.
He was
We were.
I would have. And I get it. I wasn't in the room, so I don't know how it came to. And
It came to the question of what, when we asked, what's this price going to be? And then we talked about getting appraisals or whatever. And so I said, well, you better come up with a number before you start all these other things, because without an agreement from the developer,
we're going to go.
I mean, we're going to be spending.
We're going to go on an 8-week appraisal process. They're going to come back and tell us it's going to be somewhere between $450 and $750 a foot, which is what the answer is going to be. And we're going to kill 8 weeks. Our developer is going to be gone, and here we'll sit. I mean, that's just the reality of how this stuff unfolds. Which is, again, back to the point. We have the people in the EDA here that have expertise in varied areas. And, I happen to have an expertise in development and construction, and that's what's going to happen. And so we're wasting time, we're killing time. And all we want out of the council, again, I don't think we should have had to go get it, but all we wanted to do was sign a memorandum of agreement with a developer to say, here's the status, the EDA supports it, council seems to be split or has some questions. Fine. Let them decide how much effort, time, money, and effort they want to spend on doing it, on getting additional renderings, because their current rendering is garbage. It looks like a pole building. I don't think that's what it's going to look like at the end of the day. But go do some work on it, figure out what it looks like, got a viable project, and then bring the issues back, and then you start a deal. But now they got tied up at least a month because we didn't couldn't do the memorandum. And it will get tied up further if we're gonna sit and wait for an appraisal. The replatting, whatever, I think that's a waste of time and money at this point, because unless there's some other reason you'd wanna do it, at this point in time, once something gets done over there, it's gonna get replatted anyways. But that's just. So, I'm just trying to.
New information for me. I didn't know we gave land away for $1. So I'm new at this, so I would, in my business thing, you get appraisals and you understand what the value you have. If you wanna give it away, but you gotta know what it is.
Well, we're not, yeah, and to be clear, it's not giving it away, it's an exchange. It's, okay. You know, a typical process on a city-owned parcel, so I'm not saying they always convey for that. But if, you know, they'll come back and they'll say, okay, well, we're gonna, you know, we wanna build X. In order to build X, here's our pro forma, it doesn't quite work. So what can the city do? Well, what do we have to play there? If it's not housing, we don't have a TIF opportunity. Maybe we could justify some utility work or something that serves the public good. That's going to be limited. So our only opportunity is going to be able to write down the land. Do you write it down to $1? Do you write it down to 100,000? I don't know. You know, when I say $1, I'm just cutting to the bottom. But that's how these exchanges would typically go. And they say, okay, well, if we're going to write it down, we think the value of the land, and you know, and at that point, as you get this deal, that's when you maybe want an appraisal. Have a justification for we writing down. Are we sitting on $1 million piece of property? Probably not. You know, so what are we writing down? Okay, well, we're writing down. This is a fictitious number, but we're writing down a property that's maybe worth $250,000. And so that's the contribution down to make this thing work for them. So they have essentially additional equity that they can now justify to build their project. And then we say, okay, instead of your tin siding, you know, I want you to put brick on the front. And that's how this exchange goes. Would typically go, and you get to an arrangement. But right now, we're being bureaucrats. We're adding time to it. We're doing stuff that is, you know, causing the developers to say, well, I don't think they want it.
But we didn't have the votes for the.
I understand that.
Part of it too. I mean, it's to understand what you want. You know, is it you know, for parking? Is it park? Is it the business? So I just think that but I'm brand new, so a lot of these conversations have happened on some of these spots from before, but we didn't know what we were dealing with as far as.
That's fair. And you know, and in part, again, I'm a little passionate about this, but I've been sitting at this table for 13 years, right? Mm-hmm. So we have some new council members, but I'm just, what does the council want from the EDA? Want us here and use our expertise and our time and our and the stuff that we're doing, or do we, you know, are we just a mouthpiece for the council? Just a mouthpiece for the council. I don't need for things to do. I'm not, again, I'm not trying to get overly rammy about it, but that's, you know, you got a bunch of high level business people sitting here, and we're trying to get something done, and this memorandum is nothing more than saying, you go, you know, we as the EDA like it, you go do your work and see if you can make something out of it, and we agree we won't sell it out from under you. All we're saying. All we're saying.
You mentioned before about having city-owned property that could. What would you guys gain, and then is there any potential for the city moving out by doing something like that? I know it's, as owners, I would imagine, turning that over.
Yeah, I'm sure there's an argument to be made as to why you wouldn't want to put it in the EDA. I'm not sure I know what that argument is. I won't suggest that there probably isn't a viable. I haven't heard it, but the reason why I can advocate for why we should. Why we should is so that, we can do what we're charged with without having to go get approval. That it can be more effective, and I think that's what we want to be as a group, is effective in what we're charged with. And, fortunately, we know this developer, but if this was an outside developer, and I say outside, somebody that's not connected to this business in years or whatever, they'd be long gone. We're not want to do a deal.
This developer also had a potential project at the old city hall site years and years ago, and it was shot down. And he said that he probably would never do another project in this because it was 5 stories rather than 4, what it ended up here, right? Okay. So I was going to echo the same exact sentiment about what are we doing here? We've had 2 projects that we've vehemently approved or made our notice that we really want to go forward with this, and both seem to be, one's derailed to do nothing, which is fine with me. If we're not going to do anything, at least we haven't spent any city, our citizens' money fixing something up that's going to be torn out later. And I approve that. But this one sounds to me like there's not a lot of people on board with the city council, and I'd like to ask you, what do you think? You're a member of the council. What's the position? What's the holdup? Is it not meeting a certain guideline that we're being driven?
And I forward you emails from what I got.
No, you had
response back.
No, you did.
Okay. There is a couple
No, I'm
board
not
against it.
I think they have to get back to the MOU.
Yeah, I mean,
That's where the core of the discussion,
it is.
because we need to move forward with that.
It is, and so, yeah, there's a larger issue. You're saying, let's not take up a transfer of land issue.
I think you brought up, but I think that MOU is, I mean, how do we move forward from here? If we didn't get it at the last meeting, I mean, can we do the MOU?
Yeah, what I would like to do is turn it right back to the council and ask the council, have the council approve it at their next meeting. I'd like to do. What I think the right thing to do is, and see if the developer still wants to play. And that doesn't, we are not approving a project. And at the end of the day, something's got to come forward. And at an appropriate point, get to haggle about it looks, we don't like what it is, size or shape, whatever. But in order to get there, we need the developer to be able to tell us more. And that's all this step was. We've by punting this, right now they're still at the table. I talked to them today. I mean, they're still at the table, but they're of the opinion that we don't want this in any way, shape, or form, and it won't get through council. Not sure that's entirely true. And suggest that everybody on the council loved it either. I've heard, or you've shared some, and I've heard concerns from others, and that's fine. But to not allow them, to continue to add time to this. Particularly when I heard about the appraisal, are we going to wait on an appraisal? Backwards from how this works. I'm looking at you, you're the mayor. I'm not mad at anyone.
Well, I just think that an appraisal is the first thing you do when you want to sell something, for my mind, and then you understand. That's why, I mean, this one we were behind the game, but as far as just kind of get an understanding of what we have and what the value is, and then go from there. It should have been done, before we even started talking about a project. What an idea of what it is in my mind. And
what do we carry it on the books at? Do we carry book value on?
No.
But the problem is, we got a $440,000 book value on the one by Sidewinders that nobody paid that for. Because there was and that's where I get from, when I'm talking to people, is there's the good old boys, and they do back deals. We had 5 pieces of property that moved around, and then it gets stuck, the price gets stuck on one. So that's where, I thought, well, if we got an appraisal, and we understood at least where we're at, then we can, justify it.
I'm not opposed to an appraisal to understand what the value, at least the value of things that we own. I'm not opposed to that, but what I'm opposed to is inserting that into the middle of a process and thwarting the process as a result. That's what I'm.
Well, it should have been at the beginning of the process. That's exactly what I just said when I asked, what's the value worth and land worth, and what is the gentleman willing to pay? Nobody knows on either side of it. And then we're going through this whole exercise with the council as something where he may look at it and go, that price isn't good. But it sounds like it doesn't work that way.
How did now Lowly went down a little different because we purchased that, so the EDA had a little different play in that. And as just describing how these processes might go, that one was a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
When that group was building their pro forma, I told them, put in $6 a foot for the land. It's worth. Carry something.
Well, now we have nothing. Nobody knows what we're selling for. Nobody wants to pay for it.
Right, and we can get,
again,
we can get the appraisal. I'm saying this with some background. I don't think I'm going to be far off base. It's kind of a range too. It's going to be 450 to 750 foot.
Because my thing is when we talk to voters and they ask the questions on that, we're the ones that have to go out and talk to them. And how much is that stuff for? What is this? What deal we got? So, and that's where I thought, well, maybe an appraisal, so we understand we're doing the appraisal on Delaware and the 7th one, just to kind of understand. Now, I could be completely wrong. That's the way
we're not involved in Delaware, but it's the HRA deal, right? So and I could see where that one would be a little bit different. It's a different flavor.
Okay.
But this is, downtown.
So what do we have for footage over there? $6 times how many feet do we got curved?
Where yet?
Margaret, right across the street here? I know it's more curved than back. You can get screwed like I did when I did my street assessment, 'cause I live on a pie. All I have is curb.
Right.
But,
yeah, and it's, but again, I think the bigger frustration is, what does the council want from us? What are we supposed to be doing? We're here and appointed and approved by the council to be here and execute these. And I think we understand the rules of the game, everybody at the table. Ultimately, when a transaction occurs and a structure or what have you is approved, it's going to wind up at the council desk or any trigger is pulled. These kind of what I would call administrative actions, or the ability to move a deal down a path. When we start thwarting that.
I like your idea of an idea like you did with that, as far as to put down $6 whatever. Because right now I had somebody call me and say, I didn't know what's for sale. How much are you selling for? I said, we had no idea what we're selling. And how do you not know what you're selling a piece of land for? Maybe I want to buy it.
Right, no, I get it, and
So that's where I want, if we can get a number to at least get an idea of where it was, that's where, but to me, that was an appraisal. Maybe that was a step too far. So this is, a lot of this falls on me, because I'm the one that brought up.
Sure, but if I'm in your shoes, my answer is this: we're not selling it. We're looking for an exchange. We want a development there.
See, I've never heard that. So
I want the tax dollars.
Yeah. That's new to me.
That's what I want. I don't want somebody to buy it and let it and have an empty lot sitting across the street from my sale for the next 2 years. I want a development. So we're looking to do an exchange. That exchange looks like. What's the value of it? Yeah, somewhere around $6. It's been going for $6 a foot on forever. Buildings. My answer.
So this line's on me. I was the one that brought up, because I have to have a price to understand it.
We need to have the developer in a position that he's going to get to a yes at the end of the day. need to have council on. Let's do a month from now.
Because right now we did like a just a quick little idea of where it was, and it wasn't in favor. So then it was, we need brought up. We don't have to put the full group there, but we're going so far down and we're getting people for and against it so hot, and we don't even know exactly how it's going to go down as far as what it's for sale for, or this different like that. But maybe I'm not in the city world yet. Maybe I don't understand. I'm willing to learn. Just let me know what your thoughts are, because to me, it's, you have some for sale, they know, got approximately paperwork, we know what we're going to do, and then you work your way. Is that an agreement? Yeah, we can work on that. Okay, now we move forward with, do we want a garage there? Do we want this there? Do we want that there?
And that, okay, and all of that's fair, right? I mean, for me, from my perspective, I don't want to speak for the entirety of the EDA, but to me, that property is not for sale. Property is available for development.
I know your job isn't. We have for 2 years this election. Experience. That's the way a normal mine works. You know what you're selling. Where did that developer even know?
I want to learn, because to me, it's, if it's not, if they think they're not going to pay nothing, and we're not going to, it helps to try to understand that.
Well, I mean, let's figure out the next step. I mean, maybe there's maybe I can come to a workshop, or a couple of us can come to the workshop, talk it through. I don't think is that the greatest thing we could get there? Probably not. That, are there a lot of good things that come with it? Does it solve a lot of problems that other developments are going to be challenged with and probably won't be able to solve? Yes, it does.
I agree with that too.
So you have to take it in totality and understand, okay, at some juncture we got to make a choice. Here are the challenges. We've been down the path twice with two different developers. I'm trying to get something done there. I heard one of the council members wanted housing, or preferred housing. I don't know if that's true or not. That there are some steep challenges with putting housing. So at some point we may have to make a choice. Do we hold out for housing or whatever else somebody wants, and potentially have that thing sit there for another 8-10 years? Or do we want to do a deal?
So please, Dan, I appreciate what you guys do. I might not understand, and maybe you think at this level and we're coming in at this level. So I just think we have to understand. In my mind, there was things that seemed to be unfigured out, as not quite there, but
that's fair.
I appreciate that.
And I think, Brandy, to your point about, well, the idyllic way to move forward is for somebody brings a concept forward and we route it through EDA. He says, great, we route it through council, and they say, oh, we love it. That's ideal, because now the developer can move forward with confidence. But even if it's EDA loves it, and right now at council it's a 3-2 no vote, here's why, then the developer can decide what they want to do. Like, all right, well, we're not going to put any money into it. We're not going to memorandum of understanding. But let a deal die because we're needlessly putting time on it is problematic. And these things, just again, not to kick the horse, but to kick it a little bit. But the time component of this type of stuff, particularly something like this, is what happens is, people that have the money to put into these things are not typically, shoestring people, right? And they might be doing some sort of 1031 exchange, or, first deal that's got a time limit on it, or they got money that freed up from another deal that they're looking to spend. They had an idea, let me try this. And as soon as somebody puts a hurdle in front of them, they're going to the next one.
that money goes away. And so, you know, that's one of the real concerns about time for me. When we put hurdles in front of developers, they're gonna take their dollars and not to do.
A lot of it too is that 2040 plan, isn't that what it was? Like comp plan and, you know,
Downtown redevelopment.
that's where some of them have issues on as far as what that plan has for the city.
Hey, look, if the answer ultimately is no, the answer is no, and I'm not fighting that. I'm not, or fighting the opinion of the council members. That's not. No, if the answer is no, let's say no. But, saying, well, we'll get back to you when we figure out what we flat it. That's not the right in this case.
Sounds to me like you can't take any more time. Missing last month's meeting.
I lost control.
Apparently.
You did. Already.
No, we didn't lose control. We said, what is the developer gonna have to pay for this land? We need to know what that is. Someone said, oh, let's do an appraisal, or you did. Fine. But you can come back with an appraisal that says, oh, it's worth $500,000. I'll guarantee you it's not gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
To his point, how many developments are brought to cities and they go, well, we'll give you TIF or we'll give you the land. You pick. You don't get both. Okay? You do them all the time. I've seen them all the time.
Down there, they got TIF.
And that's why
pay for those.
when you ask me, what do you think he wants to pay for it? I don't know. I didn't talk to him, but I know developers. They don't want to pay for the land. That's the city's contribution to get a taxable entity going. There's nothing collected on that right now, nothing. And it's an eyesore. You talk about eyesore, you guys don't even use it for parking. And so, yes, I have the same concerns, and boy, I am PO'd because I thought that that's what our duty is to bring forward economic development projects that we recommend. And now it's like, well, okay, it doesn't fit our, well, I was asked whether or not I was going to renew on this committee. Right now, I'm going to tell you I'm not. Really, I'm not. For that very reason. I've seen what's going on here. I've seen it on this, that you brought up. We've been trying to do that parking lot for 5 years and nothing happened. So I'm out as of the end of my term.
Yeah, that's a broader.
Someone wanted to ask me to send an email of what I wanted. No, I wanted to speak it out in front of everybody. And when you seek someone else that has some business background that wants to do economic development, I would urge you to find someone that's done it. So back to, we'll note that, sir. I'm done. Thank you. The on this project specifically. So I think we need to. It's probably worthy of a conversation with council. Happy to come to a workshop. Happy to drag the developer in there, have a little more discussion, maybe answer some questions about what it is we're trying to do, where we're at in the process. I don't, you know, there's whatever we can do to get there so that we can authorize the EDA to do this memorandum of understanding. Either that, or I can, we tell the developer this is the path we're on, and then they'll either hang around or they'll go away. I mean, that's our choice right now, I guess.
I'll reiterate what I said when we had the workshop. And again, it wasn't a vote, it was a consensus to get, to give Brandy the direction for staff as to which direction we wanted to go. In 2019, the EDA, the Planning Commission and Council, hired WSP to put together a downtown redevelopment plan.
Yep.
That downtown redevelopment plan ruffled a few feathers. When it was finally presented to you, Tom, I remember you weren't the happiest guy in the room either, because it talked about Schifsky's, and your comment when you came in here, you don't want business in North St. Paul because there was a vision and there was a plan. Doesn't mean that's what's going to be executed today, but there's a vision and a plan for downtown. My reason for not being in favor of it, and if I would have been here when it was presented, I would have brought the exact same thing up. We spent 3 years putting a plan together for what we want downtown to envision to look like. The area across the street is deemed historic downtown and multi-use. This project, in my opinion, doesn't meet the criteria of, and I read it during the council meeting as to exactly what multi-use was, and it doesn't meet the criteria of historic downtown. Any business that currently exists, we're not kicking them out. There's just a plan put in place for how council, planning commission, and this body decided they wanted downtown to look like going forward. So there was a plan. When developers would come in, there's a document there to discuss with them. That's my reason for not being in favor of it. I believe I was.
Which document was that?
The downtown redevelopment master plan. It was adopted in 2022, started in 2019. Is that the one that we had the meetings with planning commission on?
You said it was classed as downtown historic.
That street right out in front, if you go through the presentation, it's downtown historic.
Okay.
So that's why I said I was not in favor of, because the development didn't fit the master plan. Now, I believe I spoke first. And when I heard the second council member not in favor of it, and then heard you, it was like, let's not let three people make the decision going forward. I voiced my opinion. My opinion probably isn't going to change, just predicated on the redevelopment plan for downtown.
And look, if that's the answer, that's fine. We just owe the developer an answer.
But I'm one vote, so
I know.
and that, so I encourage others to, that's why I didn't want to have it go down 2-1 when there's a body of 5.
Is there any plan to reconvene to further the discussion?
Yeah, in fact, I guess I was surprised it wasn't on the last workshop.
Yeah.
And then I found out that we were getting appraisals and we were doing a few other things. So I just think we need to make sure that we've got the bodies in place. The developers presented. I think everybody sat through the presentation, so I don't necessarily know if the developer needs to come back. You reviewed it with the 3 of us that were there, the 5 of us weren't. So I guess I look to you if you would like to come on the EDA's behalf and present. And again, all we were looking for was consensus, whether it was something we were moving forward with or not moving forward with.
So look, I'd like to think I personally was a big driver behind the redevelopment master plan and getting this aligned vision document that we all held to, right? And the fact that somebody's reading it and holding me accountable for my own crap is great. And that's fine. But I think that, again, just like having, these things are guidelines, and I'm not, and I don't know that I can go in and I don't know that I even would, to be honest, to advocate that, hey, this is what it should be, I don't think I'm there personally, but I think if we're not having the discussion about, if not this, what, we're not talking about some of the challenges we've already had, to move that property and develop it, and the challenges that the other developers have faced, not just financial, but I got a big utility there, and I'm built on a lot that's 48 feet wide. There's a lot of challenges, right? And so when you have, all this ancillary stuff that comes up, I think it's just all worthy of discussion. I want to go back and look at that, but beyond not being in keeping with what the redevelopment master said, and I think that, you know, those types of discussions can be pretty fruitful, because it can. And look, no developer wants to go down a path and do any work or spend any money and ultimately get rejected. Last thing they want to do. I don't have any issues, I don't think staff does, telling the developer, don't like it. Probably it's not gonna pass.
Right now, we know it's 2-1.
2-1.
We don't know what the other two are doing yet.
Right.
Okay, whatever, yeah.
So, it can go either way,
Just
right now.
Just making up numbers.
Okay.
But again, Robert, the MOU, I mean, that sets the stage, doesn't it, to have that discussion? To get things in place that need to be in place from the developer and from the city to understand the project itself. More so than, you know, just, you know, kind of drawing. I wasn't at that meeting that, Garry presented, but, you know, maybe it's, he might hear something different and present something different. Better than,
You were at the May meeting.
not the,
You were at
not the
presented it,
presentation.
and you said you didn't have any opinion of it, you didn't know what it was.
Did he present to the council?
He did, it was the
He
same.
presented.
It was a council.
Yeah. Well, he was,
Yeah, no, I was here with that one,
oh, all right.
not the council one.
I could interject, I would
Yeah.
suggest if you're, how you're being placed. Give the council an opportunity to react. Willing to continue having the conversation.
We have
Conversation now.
space at the workshop, the next one, to talk about this.
I'm suggesting we put it on the. That is the answer that we're looking for, is this. In this conversation.
To me.
Or it's up to you guys. You can close, you can open it either way or close it either way, whether it be in a workshop or be in session.
Well,
You either have a consensus or you have a vote.
if there is consensus or not, if it's on the agenda, then we have action on the MOU.
That's fine.
And either it goes or it doesn't. The appraisal hasn't been ordered yet. So we don't have to go down. File information.
Or a little spots crossing.
We're just consolidating.
Exactly.
Intended to be developed.
One of the rest of them, so if something comes up, we're ready to go.
But if it were this development, you'd have to replat it. In their land. EDA project.
Whole conversation started off that.
But we just want to learn. Right now, this is completely different than I thought, or as and other people, and I'm just learning, I guess, so.
And I don't, you know, I'm not withstanding. It is frustrating, you know, like, okay, a no is a no, I get that. You know, we don't want to do stuff, and we cash equity in some of these. So it's larger than just such a waste of our time. Has other impacts as well. So, lots of people that I'm trying to get them to come look at things. It gets really thwarted, troublesome.
Was the historic district, would you still reach out to them, or, I mean?
I'm not, I haven't commented on that. I'm not, I haven't acquiesced to that. In keeping with the redevelopment master plan, again, having worked on it, I think development master plan
presented, but it wasn't. Not in stone, right? Not a hard. Right, a plan is a plan.
I think it's a guideline.
And we have
I
to
agree.
adjust to. And I think that we learned a lot, particularly with the last people that looked at the AV main group. We learned a lot about some of the challenges with that site that were never discussed during the redevelopment master plan, because that I think have come to the forefront, publish that document. It's easy to look at a reasonably stretch of land like that and you say, oh yeah, it's about the width of a park. It's housing. But then you find out, okay, I got a big sewer pipe and I got the gas line and I put it up against the neighbor, I got nowhere to park, and blah, 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 and it doesn't work.
That's the part I brought up at it, is you're taking land that's already there, plus new land, and plus the issues that we have there, and it seemed like a plan, but then it's coming back to, this is the book that people are looking at, so.
I think it would be helpful for council, and I'm offering up your time to go. Being educated.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, I was
Being educated and having the facts
brand new.
is always a good thing to do, and I know, Tim, you've been here most of the meetings. But I think it would be important,
Yeah.
for council to understand what the city of North St. Paul faces over there from a development standpoint. They have to dot the i's, cross your t's. They have to understand. And I don't know what, that might be a no still, but if you don't have all the facts and you don't understand, you can't make decisions.
And he's still got a parcel that adjoins it. And he's
Correct.
a local businessman who
Correct.
loves or takes care of the city. He's not gonna,
Not gonna put up.
it's like the Burwald and Tracy Luther's project. That'd still be sitting empty if the local businessman didn't come in and do it.
So this has been an educational conversation, in my opinion. Different facts. I think it needs to be. Okay, so we're not doing good on time here. So to move this along, we're going to take the MOU back. I don't like the idea of just taking it back and saying, take it or leave it, give me a vote. I think there should be some opportunity for discussion with council. Even if where my head is. Even if it's I don't know how much time you have in workshop, if any, or if it's outside a workshop, but even a well-prepared 15 minutes go a long way. What's going on over there. More importantly, what may not go on over there if we don't. And I don't think it's important that to be respectful and to the developer. Agreed.
Yes.
Like that's important.
Hopefully, he says he might be on a timeline.
Correct.
And
But
you
out
have
of respect, we need to give them an answer.
Yep.
Okay, facilitated?
Yeah.
Check that one off for now. We'll come back to the, council one out of the, there. Sorry, Dan. We're at 2579.
So that's, we're gonna go with Crossroads to market the site, the listing agreement will go to Furlong project. They uncovered some contaminated, rails when they were doing and so asked for grant funding, so that's just an update.
But that's not out of our pocket, right?
Nope. Open windows, got that handled already. And then lastly, the facade improvement program. The last meeting you had asked about first the gooseneck lighting, and so I downtown just annual. While it does imply strongly that that is the preference, it doesn't mandate. And
Okay.
to develop a program, that document is inconsistent with some of our.
The downtown,
The downtown manual design.
so in here, it says it was adopted in 2005. Is that in fact true?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it was updated in 2015.
Is there any effort to do something?
Our downtown redevelopment master plan said we should look at it and get it updated, but
Oh.
There's a body that wants to put.
Yeah, I just, again, from an EDA's perspective, in thinking about developers that come in here, we have a 18-year-old document that we're gonna hang around somebody's neck when it feels good and not use it.
There's a process for it.
We're updating. I would ask the council to have a document or got hung around my neck when I built. Party siding for sure. Just get metal. Go for metal.
Anyway, so that's the
Okay.
update of that project.
Okay, good. Thank you. Any questions on the project updates? What do we? I do have one. So Lily, do they have a? They have a project schedule that they are on, and do we?
But that has not been shared.
I mean, obviously they're just coming out of the ground, but at some point it'd be nice. Guessing end of early 2025 or the end of.
I think I asked him that.
Okay. Good to see it going though. You take that out, boy, it sure open that.
Yeah.
Open the vistas down there. You want to close them back up, no, but. Treasurer's report.
Included in your packet, there was a question last time about that was. It's gone. Liabilities the last 2 months. So $136 was the previous month was the invoice from Open Window, and then a $750. Any questions about?
When are we getting the rest of the levy? Okay. Okay. Yep. Any questions on the treasurer's report? I think you being the treasurer is working on.
I am taking an accounting class.
Yeah, that's some credits. Perfect.
Yeah. Should I go grab Dan and?
Is he coming? Do we want to do updates or is closed session last?
Oh, yeah, it's supposed to be last.
Okay. Any additional updates from the members? More resignations, please. Okay. Nope. Mr. Mayor.
Nope.
And Mr. Schifsky, what do you think?
Ready to jump in?
Ready to jump in?
Bring it on.
Oh, we got a people in. You think? No, sir.
Nothing further.
Staff. Okay. This time the meeting will be closed as permitted by section 13D.05 subdivision 3C of the Minnesota statute.
to discuss the potential purchase
Thank you.
of land located at parcel ID number 122-922-110083.
Closed session. Yeah.
Mr. Schifsky, I do have to ask you to leave, during this portion, sorry.
We're going to the closed session.
Thanks for coming. Nice meeting you.
Nice having you. Look
Appreciate it.
forward to seeing you in 2024.
Did you drive with you? Did you drive with you? No, he drove.
Get a chance to work with everything there.
This is what we want, go to EDA. Well, can I don't know. I says, you gotta get out of your work clothes. And I says, you can come and sit in. So, well, I'm gonna.
Which son is that?
My son,
Which one? Do you have more than one son?
no, he's the
Is
only
it
one.
Nick?
No, that's Tom, the fourth. So, no, I have,
Nick or Schifsky?
that's the cousin. That's my partner's. young brother. But it's just, Tori is the one that runs our office, my oldest.